Hello, and welcome to the Fantasy Mathletes Podcast. I'm the guy who can't throw.
I'm the guy that can't catch.
My name's Matt.
And my name's David.
Welcome to the show.
We drink alcohol on this podcast.
Because you see, the thing about this podcast right here, David, this is a family American podcast right here.
Fuck yeah!
Whoa. This is a family show. You gotta keep it low. And I don't think our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, is not like hearing those Lord bad words.
Are you talking about baby Jesus?
Yes.
Are we praising baby Jesus?
Yes, we are, David.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Baby Jesus.
So, we got some things to talk about. First off, we changed our name. You kind of were on the fence, but I really pushed for this name, and it's Fantasy Mathletes. I want to keep it short within like 2 words. And I think that, athletes, kind of it's what we're talking about, sports, between both sports. One of the things, my name's Matthew, so it's like Matthew.
So you are telling me that your one goal is to make this all about you. I thought when you told me,
of course,
we're going to put math. You said, I thought you said, I was like, dude, why are you putting your own name in there? You're like, no, David. It's math.
It's a pun. It's like, oh, I can see that. But yeah, we're going to try and throw out some numbers on this. Probably not as much as we should, but we're going to throw out some good numbers for people.
And there's one thing that we found out from me last week where I told you, I was like, I am so shitty at making names. And then you came around and were like, I'll get the name.
Yeah. What's interesting, for those who don't know, I'm a software developer. The hardest thing I'm finding in life is just coming up with good naming practices. Something that makes sense right away as you hear like, oh, that means that.
Yeah, no one else can have their name David, right?
I know.
I mean, that was the perfect name right there.
I know.
And you wanted to actually put your name in front of it.
Well, how can we integrate your name into the title? There's no good way to do that.
Are you saying that my name is so insignificant that we don't even have to put it in the podcast?
Yes.
I'm kind of hurt.
Yes.
But let's start talking about the sports and about what we want to do with this little damn podcast that we're doing.
Yes. So we want to give you, the listeners, this is a football podcast, but we're going to do baseball as well as we go through the playoffs, fantasy playoffs, that is. We want to give you guys some good fantasy knowledge, and really, we think our league is really, really interesting. We have a lot of fun with a lot of good laughs, and we're going to try and kind of convey that on this show, and I think we have a really good segment to give you an introduction into our league and really kind of get you familiar with some of these characters that we actually have in our league.
And so what we're hoping for is that in the next upcoming weeks, we can actually get a couple of them onto the podcast and for you guys to actually get to know them. And one of the things I think that is actually misses from a lot of fantasy football podcasts is the actually fantasy teams, the league members, the people that you play around with. And as you said, there's archetypes?
Fantasy archetype. We'll get into that later.
As you can tell, that I've been drinking a little bit, but I just want to let Matt know I did brush my teeth before we did this.
Thank God.
I was really thinking about him, and I thought, we're getting so close to each other.
Yeah.
It's going to be really good for me to brush my teeth.
It's like teenagers are closer to making out than we are. Or we're closer than teenagers when we're getting that close, huddling around a microphone. So yeah, we're sitting here having a good time. It's it's midnight, so we're having a good time.
And it's the night before the fantasy draft.
Yes,
and that's the reason why we're doing this.
Yeah.
The last fantasy podcast we did, we talked about who everyone kept, what we thought about a lot of players that are going to be available.
Sure.
And this one is just us excited for the upcoming draft.
It's us on Christmas morning or Christmas Eve just sitting
there looking at those presents.
Looking at those presents just when is Santa going to come? You're just looking, you're just ready, you're hovering over the presents. Just
and you're thinking about what I can get.
Yes.
And so, as you can just tell, we are so freaking excited for this news.
Yeah, we gotta drink so that I can sleep tonight. I gotta get so hammered I can't breathe or move.
I thought I just wanted to let you know the other reason why I brush my teeth is so I can have my way with you when you're a little bit drunk.
Whoa, David, this is a family podcast. I'm gonna have to reel you back in.
Okay.
So yeah, we have a lot of cool ideas for the podcast. We'll kind of get into that in our second segment. But the first segment I want to get into is kind of give you an introduction into our league. As a lot of the league members, I've done a video similar to this before because we did those kind of smack talk videos on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook, but they really didn't last past week 1 or 2.
No, because a lot of people got offended by what they were doing. We were taking it a little too far, especially me.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it was my idea to do this, and then I just took it way too far.
Yeah.
And it kind of hurt people's feelings, and I understand that what I did was wrong.
Because you're a big airhead?
Yeah, a really big one.
Yeah.
I have a big mouth.
Yeah.
It may be a sexy mouth, but it's
You had a
big.
bigger head than Bruce Bochy.
Yeah.
You know, he has like the biggest hat size in the league.
Oh, that's what she said.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the
Alrighty.
first thing on the agenda?
So what we're going to talk about, I want to give you a little backstory into kind of what I'm going to tell you is, so I originally found out about this kind of method of these called the fantasy archetypes. And what it is, in order for a league to be successful, you can't have like the same person in the league. You can have 10 teams of the same people. Otherwise, it'll just be boring. The really good way to have a really good, successful long-term league is you need to have a league with a lot of characters in it. It's kind of what we're trying to tell here. It's, you know, a lot of different characters. You know, in any story, you can't have like one guy who's always like stoic and serious. You got to have a mix of characters to really kind of.
No one can be the hero.
Yeah.
Not everyone can be the hero.
Yeah. So really, there's a book called How Fantasy Sports Runs Our Lives, or I think it runs the world. It's written by A.J. Mass of ESPN, and in the book, he actually lists the 12 archetypes of a perfect league. Obviously, we have 10, so there are going to be a few that are left out. But it's really kind of interesting to look at these archetypes and tell me, and you're able to identify, like, oh, like this is that person, that I'm this person. And it really kind of lets you potentially know how to work with them, trade with them, etc. You know, so it's really interesting on that regard. And I came up with this. I came across this based on a Survivor podcast where they kind of applied this to the show Survivor, the long-running show Survivor. And really, you can apply this to a lot of different assets of your life. But for today, we're going to keep it based on fantasy.
I just love it, though, how you can break down a person by these archetypes.
Yeah.
And also, I just love how you're like, all right, I'm going to use this to my advantage, and I'm going to learn what the archetype is and learn how to trade with them.
Okay. So I think probably the funnest, the most fun thing to do is for me to list off the fantasy archetype. I'll give a description of what it is, and I want David to guess. Some of these are going to be pretty easy. Some of them might be a little bit harder. I imagine the majority of them will be easy. You guys can play along at home as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be one hell of a thing.
Okay, so the first one is loose cannon. This is the person that you really have to be very mindful of what you say. This is the person that whenever you're sending them an email, you really want to make sure that you're not going to say anything remotely possible that will piss them off.
Kelly.
Why is that your final answer, Dave?
That was my only answer.
Okay. So why don't you tell me a little bit about Kelly?
Now, Kelly.
Like why does she fit into this archetype?
The last thing you want to do to Kelly is say the wrong thing. She will destroy you. She will take you and just rape you.
Yes.
Destroy you. Do things that are unimaginable. When the war in Iraq started, she ended it. And so that's the reason why she's the loose cannon.
Yeah,
you don't want to piss her off.
Yeah, whenever I have a conversation with Kelly that ends badly, I always have to go take a shower because you just feel so dirty.
You do, and she gives you that look.
The protect your nuts look.
Yes, but it's a look that it's like she knows that she could beat the shit out of you.
Yes.
But she's containing herself.
Yes.
And what she's going to do instead is destroy you with words.
Yes.
And words are what can really hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And we've all had our taste of the wrath of Kelly. Because there's always has to be one person that she's pissed off at. The great thing is, once she's done being pissed off at you, and she's on to another person, you know there's at least 6 months where you know that it will turn back around and be on you, but you at least have 6 months.
You do one thing and you're going to be right up there on the hit list for her. You just got to be mindful of what you say. And I think it's just, you have to know her as a person. You need to know, she's a nice person when you get to know her. And once you know how to interact with her in the correct way, she's very pleasant to be around.
Yes, she very much could be.
Yeah. Okay. So, you ready to move on? Do you want to say anything more about the loose cannon or Kelly at all?
Nope.
Okay.
I think I said enough that will make her not angry at me.
I think she's going to be one of the first people to listen to this podcast, and we might have actually said something that might have set off the loose cannon. And we're going to see her tomorrow. She's probably going to listen to this before the draft, so we might want to go buy ourselves a few cups.
And also, I wanted to let you all know that I'm actually playing Kelly in the playoffs for the baseball. For 2 weeks, I'm going to be playing against her. I would rather lose than win.
Oh,
That's how scared I am. That's how scared I could be of her. I would rather win by 100 points than win by 1.
Yeah.
Because if I win by that 1 point, I'm dead.
Yeah. Well, what you need to do is I beat Kelly by a last second win in baseball. And essentially, what you need to do is if you beat her and she's upset, you have to be like the post-World War II Germans where you pretend like nothing ever happened, the previous year, weeks, whatever. It never happened. And you don't talk about it.
Because I remember I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Her and I are playing, and it's the final day, the final game on the Sunday Night Baseball. I have a couple point lead. She has a couple players playing. There's a good chance that she's going to win. She texts you because I don't have a phone. She tells you, I'm coming over.
Yep.
I was so afraid. I was so happy when one of her guys got a home run. So that meant that she actually got the win that week. And she was so happy. I was just afraid of what would have happened if I actually would have got the win just by a couple points. And she was actually in the building at that same time that I won.
Yeah. Okay, I think we said enough about Kelly. Hopefully we didn't piss her off too much. So the next person, this archetype is the Diplomat. This is the person who, generally, if there's an argument, if there's any kind of discussion in the league that's trending south, this person will kind of step in, want to give their 2 cents, and kind of try to maintain order among everyone involved.
I would almost be likely to say Sunny at a point. Because she very much is almost like the mother den in our group.
Mother hen.
The mother hen.
Hen starts with an H, not a D, David.
Yes.
David has spelling problems, so
yes.
we're trying to, it's a work in progress.
Well, there's a mother hen, right?
Yeah.
Wait, I said dead, right?
You said mother den, not mother hen.
Okay, she's the mother hen of our little group. And so whenever there's like a bickering going on or a trade rape that did happen, she's always the one who's diplomatic about it. She always looks at it and she says, let's look at both sides. And also she does work for a lawyer.
Yeah, she works in law.
So she knows how to almost like read people and see and just look at a situation and look at it in a justful way.
Yes. So is there anyone else you think might be kind of this diplomat?
Kevin.
Yeah. That's someone who I also considered. But yeah, you were right. It was Sunny. I can see Kevin in that role, but see, the thing to point out here is that you might fit into a few of these categories, but it's just kind of trying to fit them into the right pieces.
Because everybody has a little bit of piece of every single part of these archetypes in them. Sure. Potentially. But
it's like, what's the most dominant characteristic? So yeah, I would say Sunny. More so recently than because she used to be a little bit more of a loose cannon, but I think she kind of became self-aware that she was loose cannon. She kind of has actively corrected that, and she really is now trying to be a fair person. And really, I can't think of a time where taking a step back, as a third party and looking at any type of arguments I've had between Kelly or Sunny and myself. More often than not, she's probably right, and she's probably in the right, and she's a little bit more level-headed.
She is. And also, I think I saw a big change in her once she became the league manager.
I didn't see a big difference, to be honest.
I'm trying to pay her a compliment.
Okay.
Because right now, just to let you guys know, Sunny and Kelly are sisters. And so right now...
Were they not sisters before, or are they not going to be sisters after?
They could be.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that if you piss off one of them, you piss off both of them. Okay. So I'm being very choiceful with my words. So that
Selective.
They don't. Yes. Okay. Selective.
Choiceful? Is that what you said?
Yes, that's what I said.
Choiceful. Look that up. Is that actually a word?
Probably part of the Urban Dictionary, but hey, Who am I to judge?
David's creating his own language.
It's the David language, and you all
David
better
Lees.
learn. David Lees.
David Lees, there you go. So yeah, I don't know how much more I really would want to say about Sunny, but yeah, she's a league manager. She really likes to kind of take that leadership position and really own it, and she likes to work with people. And I think that she kind of likes being that a little bit more of a powerful position, but make it very clear that she's not like, I'm the alpha person. I'm just kind of like gonna do this leadership because no one else is going to.
Yes, and I appreciate what all she does for our league.
Sure, because when you have 10 people and you're trying to organize them to do things, it's annoying because you have to do excuses. You have to deal with a lot of BS, and you know what? I probably could do it, but it takes a lot of time. So it's nice that she does it.
And I appreciate for what she did for Kevin. Kevin, he had to be away, and the fantasy football was about to start, and he's the league manager of the football.
Sure.
And she kind of told him, hey, if you ever need a break or need to help you with something, I'm here for you.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know why. I think that given that Kevin doesn't actually have a computer, I feel like Kevin should just let Sonny be the league manager because I have no problems with that.
I would be all for that.
Doesn't really matter, because in football, league manager does little to nothing.
But baseball, oh my God, playing every single day.
Whew. Sure. Do we want to say anything else about Miss Sunny?
No.
Okay. So the next person, you're not looking over at my screen, are you?
No.
Okay. The next person is Old Reliable. Okay. So Old Reliable, it's that person where you always really know where they stand. And in terms of fantasy league, you kind of always know who they're going to draft, how they're going to finish. They're just very consistent. They're Old Reliable.
Jason.
Is that your answer?
That's my answer.
You're wrong.
What?
You are totally wrong.
All right, hear me out.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Jason, as I've seen in the last couple of years, he's always gone for kind of the same people. Look at the Carolina running back situation.
Okay.
He would always go for, I don't know which one it was, but I do remember he would always go for, I think it was Stewart?
D'Angelo Williams.
Williams. He would always go for him every single time. And I remember that there was a couple other people that we've seen in baseball that he will go after. So I kind of could see that that's the way he's the Old Reliable. And he's kind of been in the same position every single year for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jason could fit in this category, but again, going back to that theme of you need to see who fits the best for one category. So Jason, I could see your point that he does fit somewhat into it, but for my archetypes, he's not Old Reliable. So you got a 1-7 shot now because Sonny and Kelly are both off the board. Now Jason, is not part of this.
Another person I could say is Old Reliable is Kevin.
You're wrong again.
I'm wrong again?
Again, Kevin could fit in that category, but really, Kevin fits into another category much better.
Or another person that I can actually think is a person that always goes for one team to rule them all. And I think I may be getting close.
Okay.
And that's Johnny. Now, Johnny, he's a person that will always go for those main three guys on one of those teams that's going to be big. Last year, he went for the Denver Broncos. The year past, he went for New England for a couple years.
Sure.
And I can say that that's maybe Old Reliable.
You are correct. Johnny is Old Reliable. So, yeah, you're kind of... you're right, Johnny. You kind of know where he stands. And Johnny isn't a person who really deceives. He's not a person who will tell you, not how he's completely feeling. Johnny is the guy who's going to straight up tell you exactly how he feels. He always kind of goes for the same players. He finishes roughly the same in football and baseball every single year. So you kind of know exactly what you're getting with Johnny. And because of that, he's Old Reliable. Frankly, Johnny, don't take this in any offense. You're successful in football. Baseball is another story. But I know exactly what you're doing, and you don't change in a year. I feel like, maybe you need to evolve your strategy a little bit. And you might be a little bit more successful in football, maybe even baseball.
Oh, especially with baseball.
Sure.
Now, baseball, last 2 years, he's become last place.
Sure.
And it's just been whoa, what are you doing, dude? But on football, though, it's the opposite. Because of him investing in one team and kind of hitting aces every single time, he's actually been producing quite a bit in football.
Because football is a sprint, as Kevin would say, and baseball is a marathon. Johnny really likes to stream players. Streaming meaning he likes to pick the hot guy off the wire. And when in football, you only have 16 games, it's easy to stream. In baseball, you can stream them for a little bit, but eventually their career averages catch up to you. Mm-hmm. So that's Johnny. Johnny's old reliable.
And it's funny, though, the last 3 ones we've done, we've hit all the Gretschkos all in one row. Did you intentionally do that?
No. I just got the list, and then I was just filling it in. So this isn't list off the person. It's list off the list I found off a website.
I just think it's funny, though, that those were the top 3 that we've first done.
I didn't even think about it until you pointed it out. So, the 4th archetype. This is the ninja. This is the person who lurks in the shadows. The person that doesn't get talked about a whole lot. This is the person, if I gave you a pen and paper and I said, write down everyone's name in the league. This is the one that you probably struggle with the most to remember and write down.
Okay. Blake?
No.
Well, because he's so brand new that I would think that maybe that would be the reason.
So you're going Blake?
Well, it's obvious that it's no on Blake.
Yeah, it's no on Blake.
Okay, if it's not no on, if
it's not Kevin, David.
It's not Kevin. Well, of course it's not.
I'll give you that one.
Kevin's, he was never even on that list. Me? No, it wouldn't be me.
You know what you are.
I know what I am.
Just don't say it out loud.
I'm not gonna say it. Well, Angie's not playing.
See, this is the ninja. You don't remember him. You can't think of his name.
Who is he?
Think.
Oh God. Oh, Anthony.
No, you're wrong again. This is why this guy's the ninja.
Who's the ninja?
Think. You listed off everyone except for like me and this person.
Oh my God, who is that other person?
It's Travis.
Oh.
See? He's the ninja. You don't remember him.
Oh, God. He probably just came out of the shadows and just sliced my throat.
Seriously, Dave. I was like, come on, you got to get it eventually. Because remember on the podcast, I kept asking you, like, what's this guy's name?
You mean you were actually baiting me for this very moment?
No, because I just put this together this day. And the only way I remember his name is I have to like, okay, who's like a famous person? I thought, oh, Travis Ishikawa. His name's Travis.
I'm pretty sure Travis Ishikawa is not famous. Other than the people
he's a famous name I know. He's more famous than you, which isn't saying much.
That makes me sad, dude.
So yeah, there's nothing else really to say about the ninja other than
he's coming for me.
He's the big sleeper, so
he's like you the other night when you snuck into my room and waited for me to come in and scare the shit out of me.
Yes, if you guys listen to this podcast and not check this out on our YouTube channel, there's a video about 6 seconds. So if you got 6 seconds to spare, you should check out this video. And I'm sitting in the corner of David's room in his chair, and I know what time he's coming home. And as he comes into his dark room, he doesn't know I'm there. He walks over, and he looks over, and then he spots me, and he shrieks and freaks out. It's very funny. You should check it out. I actually jumped myself a little bit because I'm skittish too. So it's a funny video, and you should check it out.
Yes, it was actually awesome of me
to do a plug. Awesome.
Everything is awesome. Wait, you left me in the cold, you bastard!
I didn't know I was going to sing. Just go. Go on with what we were doing.
I want to talk about this. You left me out in the cold. Okay, well, I do an awesome plug for our channel, and you leave me out of the cold.
Next time I'll follow up. It has to happen naturally.
Okay.
You can't say the word and then just expect for it to happen.
Well, I took what you said and I made a plug for our channel.
Okay. What were we talking about?
The Archetypes, the ninja.
Yeah, no, but we were talking about the video of you getting scared.
Yes, and
do we have anything else to talk about on that?
Well, I just want to add is that when I was coming up to our house, I noticed that something was up because he's been known to scare me quite a bit. So I unlock the door and I kind of throw it open because I'm expecting him right next to the door. No, he's not there. I go up to the second floor. I get all my stuff. Not there. I actually go and I check in the garage to make sure that your car was there.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
No, because I was like, wow, this is strange. There's no lights going on in his room.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And I was like, maybe he's out someplace.
Sure.
And then I see your car's there, and I was like, okay, he's probably just sleeping.
Okay, that's smart. I was like, why the fuck are you in the garage?
No, because that's what I was doing. I was like, man, I wonder what's up.
Okay.
And then there you were. You son of a bitch. I let my guard down.
You let your guard down, yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. So, moving on in the archetypes. The next one, it's going to be a little bit easier now that you have less choices. Fresh meat. This is the person who's not necessarily the newest person in the league, but a new person in our league. Person who is really trying to find their place within our group and really can be exposed and exploited because of his, or I give you his, but there's no more growth left in the league, his inexperience.
All I can say is Blake.
Yeah. This one's a little bit loose. It's not 100%, but Blake's a new guy, and he kind of hasn't been training. He's really kind of skittish. He's almost like afraid of what we're all capable of.
Well, I think with baseball, the one thing that he was most afraid of was that he didn't know us. So when we were wondering, hey, about this certain player, we would send out a trade, but we would never hear anything back. But now that I think he hung out with us for a couple times, I think this year in fantasy football, he's going to be all over the trades. Or at least I hope.
I don't know. I think that he will still be very conservative.
The one that I'm really worried about is Travis. Since none of us really know him.
He's a wild card. He's a
ninja.
He's a ninja. He can come up and win the league and snake us all.
Dude, someone's coming for your title. What?
That's fine.
You want that, don't you?
What?
You want to be the one that's back against this wall as everyone's coming for you.
Here's the thing I don't understand is, so for those who don't know, I won baseball and football in both these leagues.
All in 1 year.
Like within the last year. And before baseball started, Sunny texted me or called me or whatever. We talked in person. She said, Matt, just be prepared. We're coming for you. And I thought, and I texted back. I'm like, are you going to try harder this year to beat me? Is that what you're saying? Are you, like, is that what you're doing?
You just threw it back at her.
I think she was just talking shit, but I just thought it was funny. It was like, in terms of like fantasy sports, like, I guess you could be like maybe someone who's not playing actively, but I know Sunny, I know she really wants to win. She tries very hard. She puts a lot of effort into it. So I think given that it was her saying it, then it would be different. It'd be like a little different, I guess, if Kevin said it, like, I'm actually going to try in the playoffs, then I'd be like, okay, I understand that. But for Sunny, I feel like she's a person who really commits to fantasy sports. So in context of Sunny, I thought that was funny.
There's one thing I've been noticing about you. You very much analyze everything and everybody.
Sure.
And you've been doing so well with it. You have given me a couple of advices, which I'm not going to say here because I don't want to give...
sexual.
No. But of how to deal with people in our league. Mm-hmm. And it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, well, I'm a very analytical person. I'm a programmer, and what I like to do is when something happens that intrigues me, I always like to know why. Some people would say, oh, it just happens. A lot of it, I just want to know why is it like this? And a lot of it was the things I really like, they're very interesting, go back to like human emotion and biology. And like one of them I kind of thought of the other day is Kevin came over and we were talking strategy before the draft. And I realized, before he got there, I had the TV on, and then afterwards we paid no attention on the TV despite the fact that the Niners and the Giants were playing. We switched over in the middle of the game. But I'm like, it's kind of interesting where if I'm not here, or if I'm here by myself, I need the TV on. But whereas if you're two people, really don't need the TV on. And my theory is, I didn't look this up, but it makes sense to me, is that the reason why you turn on TV, podcasts, something when you're alone, is that, we're kind of like pack animals. Humans like to travel together. And when you're by yourself and you might not be with someone, but if you hear a TV on, you can say like you feel more comfortable.
Like you're connected.
You're not thinking like, oh, I've someone's here with me, but it just makes you feel better just because that biological function of you're with someone. And when back in caveman days, if you and another person stick together and have each other's backs, you're going to survive a lot longer than someone who doesn't have anyone with them. Same in survival situations. If you're trying to survive on yourself, and you're like in the middle of the drift of the ocean, if you're by yourself, you are almost doomed. If you have someone there, your chances go way up.
So the one thing that you could tell us about this podcast is if you're alone in your car, we are there with you.
Yes.
And we are going to get you there safely. Wherever that may be,
Yes.
we will get you there.
David will be rubbing your back, and I'll be holding your hand.
Oh, I thought you were about to say you will be holding their stick shift.
Oh, that would be funny. I didn't think about that. Okay, so yeah, I went off a little tangent there, but I think that was good. Just gonna give maybe a little background.
There's a
on me.
difference between yours tangents and mine.
Mine actually have a purpose and a meaning.
Yes, and I just go off about anything. Oh, hey, there's a cat.
Yes. You know, what I want to call that for our podcast is that's a squirrel. You ever seen the movie Up?
Oh,
You know, where they'll be super serious and all of a sudden they'll squirrel and look over. That's
so
what a squirrel
I'm the
is.
dog.
Basically, your dog. Yes. Alrighty. Okay. So here's probably the toughest one, I'd say. This archetype is the idiot savant. This is the person who seems to win despite every number, every logical thing saying that this person should not win. It's a person, you look at their roster, you read off the names, and you're like, he sucks, he's a scrub. And then you look at their record, and then you just scratch your head, and you're like, how?
Yes.
How is this possible? So, David, what is your first of many guesses going to be for this?
When I'm looking at this and analyzing it, there's one thing I see. Is somebody that, as it says in there, everyone thinks that he's an idiot.
Or she.
Or she think that they're an idiot. So, who does everybody in the group think that, oh, hey, there's a squirrel. Oh, hey. It must be me. It must be.
You were 100%
Because I
wrong.
What?
No, you're right. You're right.
What?
You're right. I just wanted to see what your reaction would be.
Now, there's one thing I love, though, is that every single year at the beginning of the season, Kevin and a lot of people, they put out their
Power rankings
for what people think about their opponents.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin always puts me as last. He's like, I don't get what you just did here. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of just sitting back being like, I think I did good. I mean,
yes.
And I always come out, only one time have I made the playoffs, which is in baseball. But every single year, I'm in the hunt.
Well, I wouldn't say yet that you've made the playoffs in baseball because we still have a week left and you could be disqualified for some other reason. Just throwing it out there, Dave.
Is it money reasons?
Maybe.
What?
David, you have not paid your dues in baseball. And it clearly states in the rules that if you do not pay your dues by playoff time, you're disqualified.
What?
Kelly goes to the finals.
What?
Uncontested.
This is bullshit.
You better be sure to pay Sunday tomorrow.
I'm going to go to my mother's den. I'm going to kick all you asses.
Her den or her hen?
Did I say den again?
You said den. No. But I thought you said like you're going to go to your mother's den because that actually would make sense. Like going to your mom's den in her house.
And just to let you know how smart I am, I actually did say the den on purpose.
Okay.
Because I'm not that stupid.
He's trolling me.
I am very much trolling you.
Okay.
And so I am the idiot savant. I have been known to put my name as my team name as Idiot Savant.
So yeah, I think that David kind of summed it up perfectly. David wins, and we all think he shouldn't. But really, what I kind of like about that is there's more than one way to win. It makes it a lot more interesting. If there's one way to win, like either my way, David's way, Sonny's way, it could be very boring. But it really, you can win in a lot of different ways. And I try to change up my strategy year to year because it really makes it more fun. Mm-hmm. In baseball, I won last year with my pitching. I traded away almost all my pitching.
To who?
To the idiot savant.
Yes.
I did it because I thought it was a good move, but also I wanted to try something else, something different.
You know what was actually awesome about that?
Did you just say
everything is awesome?
Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
So, with that being said, it was awesome to see.
Did you just say awesome? No, go.
To see that you had the second best pitching this year. Sure. So you said to yourself, I want a challenge. So I gave you a whole bunch of hitting. You gave me all your pitching. And you actually went and rebuilt your pitching, and you had the second best pitching in the whole entire league.
Well, you understand how I did that, right?
Yeah, I do understand how you did it. But just awesome, though, to see how you would analyze things and say, I need a challenge for myself.
Yeah.
That's what I like about you and I. We think things differently.
Yeah. So just to kind of clarify, if anyone doesn't know what I did this year in baseball, essentially what I did is I didn't draft pitching high at all. We only allowed 5 starting pitchers. It's just our custom rules, only 5 starting pitchers. So I knew that there's going to be a lot of good starting pitchers on the wire. And a lot of times, if you have 5 solid pitchers and there's a guy who's up and coming and playing well, you can't pick him up because you have 5 solid guys. You can't put him on your bench. So what I did is I always have like a 4th or 5th guy I didn't really care about. And I was always streaming trying to get those guys. So that was very successful for me. So I had a pretty good lineup. And last year I didn't have a very good lineup in baseball. So I was really happy with my lineup. And my team, it was good in the middle. It's kind of taking off right now. But, it's been a fun year so far.
Yep. And all that we're all in is for the ride.
Sure. Okay. So here's another tough one. This person is the mad scientist. This person sits around doing various activities and thinks, maybe I could do this with my team. Maybe I could do that. Maybe I could do this.
The only one that I can think about this is that there's one person in our league that only time he will take a shit is when he knows he can have time to think about a trade.
Yes.
And the only time he would actually finish that shit is when he gets that trade accepted. And so that would be Kevin.
Yes, you are absolutely right. And doesn't this, are you kind of saying how these, Kevin could have fit as old reliable, but he really fits much better as the mad scientist, wouldn't you agree? Yeah, so Kevin is the guy who, he's at work, he's driving to work, and he's just almost like sitting there rubbing his hands like, he's mixing formulas. He's like, maybe if I do this. And really he does a lot with trades. Like maybe if I trade, this position for that position, I can fill it, this guy's on the wire. He's thinking of all these things. A lot of time he might overthink himself. And, Kevin talked to me, and he kind of admitted that he understands that he kind of has overthought things and kind of overdid and traded a little bit more than he needed to. So that's the mad scientist. That's Mr. Kevin.
We love him.
Yes.
And also, I could say, with him being a mad scientist, that's one thing that's actually hinder him at certain times.
Sure.
Is that you can look at him and be like, dude, you have an awesome team. You have an awesome team. But then he thinks to himself, I need to fix something. There's a hole over here.
Yes.
And to plug that hole, I need to create another hole over there.
Yes.
And that can hurt you so much.
Yes. Kevin needs to, I think, if I had to give him one piece of advice, he needs to be more patient with his team. It's hard for him to do. Maybe he just can't do it. But.
And he's also been known in our league as the shark.
Yeah.
He's a person that can see blood in the water and he will hit it.
Yeah.
Until there's nothing left.
But again, I want to say, I'm critiquing Kevin. Kevin can critique me. Kevin has been one of the more successful players in fantasy. I think Kevin is, coming this year, he was probably the best baseball player because he finished second. And if he actually cared more about baseball than football, he would have been 2-time champion.
Because what happened in last year's fantasy playoffs in baseball?
Kevin and I were in the finals together. Kevin had a 100-point league going into the second week. We have a 2-week playoff matchup. And Kevin thought, I got this. I'm going to focus more on football. He kind of he ignored baseball. And because of that, I was able to win by about 30 points.
And how much money did you win?
I forget, to be honest.
Did you
Not
bathe
enough.
yourself in the dollar bills that you got?
They weren't dollar bills. They were $20 bills.
Oh, they were $20 bills. And you were able to bathe yourself in the glory that is of the money that you made.
Yes, I didn't wash
and
or bathe for weeks after
I
that.
still remember the time when Sonny handed you that money. And you fling it up in the air.
I made it rain.
It all came trickling down on you. And you know what I thought to myself? That could be me. That could be me.
David, what you don't know is I'm a successful entrepreneur up in there.
So I'm going to take everything that I learned from you, and I'm going to be you.
That's creepy as hell. Okay, I'm like, the first thing I thought of is me coming home from work or, something, and then David sitting and wearing my clothes.
Skyping your
And then-
girlfriend, be like,
Yes.
why are you Skyping me?
Yes. And then I would have to burn those clothes. Okay. So moving on. The next one, actually, I said there was 12 archetypes. This one I actually didn't think fit strong enough into one of our team members. And this is the cheerleader. This is the person that cares more about the league as a whole than their own team. This is the person where they'd almost like give away a good player just so like the league is healthier. They are very selfless and they are very just pro league. Like our league is awesome. It's awesome.
That's the person you would take advantage of. That's like the person in high school who was like, all right, my parents give me so much money. Let's go out and go get these certain things.
Sure.
And you don't pay for shit.
Sure.
But you just take advantage of him.
And yeah, it's a person, exactly. You're 100% right. It's a person that you do take advantage of.
And I can say in our league, our people are more about, they're sharks. They're more thinking about themselves than about anybody else.
There are no nice people in this league.
No, and that's what makes this this league great. Is that, or even more fun?
Yeah, this isn't a nice friendly bake sale. This is a battle royale.
All right, when we considered all the rules for this year, we had to do it in a public place so that there wouldn't be any fighting. And you know what? There still was arguments that happened.
Yes.
And there was kids around. And there was F-bombs being thrown around left and right. And I'm really shocked that we did not get thrown out. We actually had to have a person hold a certain object and say, when this person hold that object,
Yes.
you can only talk. Nobody else around you. And I
So-
was shocked by that everyone actually abided by that rule for a certain point.
It's the only way we can get through that meeting without killing each other.
So that's the thing you look forward to in our group, is that once those people come on, you can see the different archetypes, see the different little nuances that our group has.
Sure.
So what's the next archetype?
The next one is the X Factor. Now, this person goes to the beat of their own drum. They're the person where if they did something crazy in your team, you'd be like, what are they doing? But you wouldn't be totally shocked.
When you tell me this, I think of a hippie.
Okay?
But there's no hippies in our group.
Okay?
So the only one that I can think is like that is the person that we were just looking at, just like his draft last year. And you're kind of like, okay. Or most likely 2 years ago, where you're just looking at it, you're like, oh, he went for the Atlanta QB in like the first round or something like that. And at that time, he was a subpar quarterback. And we just looked at each other. We're like, what the hell is going on here? And so that must be the one and the only Anthony.
Yes. And again, Anthony, we can criticize him, but, he had a lot of success 2 years ago. And he could have very well won the league if a few things went his way. And he took a shot again going after Atlanta players last year, and it didn't work for him. He didn't adapt. But he kind of always does his own thing, and it's very interesting, and it makes the league a little bit more fun, I'd say.
The only thing that I can say about him is that when he's out, he's out. Like, not just like, but mentally.
Aren't you as well, kind of? Are you kind of just like, you're not paying as much attention?
You say, consider it this week in fantasy baseball where I've already clinched a playoff spot, unless now you told me, hey, you actually have a chance of not making it. But up until today, today was my first day out of the whole entire week that I actually checked my lineup to see how is it doing. And I see on there I have Cespedes on the bench, and I'm like, wait, what is he doing there? And then I look on there and I say, hey, there's an injured player right there. When the hell did he get injured? And I'm down by like 60 points. So I'm like, this never happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that's enough.
Wait,
What?
we forgot about somebody.
We're not. No. I have more archetypes to do.
There's one more.
No, there's actually a few more.
Are we going to finish it? There's one person that we have not mentioned here.
We have 3 more archetypes left.
And you just told me that we were through.
We're through with that archetype.
Oh, okay. I thought we said that
No.
we're through with the archetypes. I was like about to say, dude, there's a couple people missing.
This next archetype is like water. This water doesn't care it wants to find the path of least resistance. It wants to find the easiest way to the top. If there's a slope, they're going to go for that slope. If there's a crack, they're going to go for that crack. If there's a hole, they're going to want to go for that hole. This person, if there's any kind of gray area in the rules, they're going to try their best to exploit it.
And there's one person who, at one point, had so many pitchers on his team get injured.
Sure.
That he had to drop one of them by the rules standards.
Sure.
He didn't want to do this.
Do you want me to tell the story?
Yes. Tell the story.
Okay, so this was, our baseball league really started out as a wild, wild west, and it's really got more tame as the seasons go on. But essentially, it's really important, I say, to know your rules and know what you can get away with. And last year, I had already clinched my spot. And I had I had Jose Fernandez. I actually had Felix Hernandez as well. But Felix Hernandez, he was on an innings cap. And it was unlikely him to be there for me throughout the whole playoffs. And I think Cole Hamels was on the wire, believe it or not. And I had a lot of stud pitchers, and I couldn't drop one of them. And I thought, you know what? I really need a pitcher, my fifth pitcher, once Jose Fernandez gets cut down to this innings limit. Thinking, well, what are my options? Kind of a little bit like mad scientist. Like, what are my options? I go, what happens if I just pick him up? So then I think, what's the consequence? I get disqualified last week. What happens then? I go, who am I playing? Playing the person who's in the fourth spot, who everyone's competing with. I'm like, So if I do this, I'll get disqualified, which I'm okay with because I already clinched a playoff spot. And they're not going to want to do that because they don't want to hand them the playoff spot. And ultimately, what I didn't anticipate, I was very happy. And I thought I smiled to everyone. What I didn't anticipate was just everyone kind of standing up and being like, no, we're not allowing this. And almost like essentially said, you will not win the league if this happens.
You will not pass go.
Yes,
you will not collect $200.
Yes. It was fun to think that I was able to come up with that scenario, but a lot of times nowadays I leave kind of those ideas in my fantasy because what I realized is those are funny to exploit those rules, but you can damage the league and you're going to have more fun, but everyone else is going to have less fun. And if you care about the league long term and the health of the league, you really can't do that because if you do that, then no one's going to want to play with you.
Yep, and I also remember that there's a time where our league manager was like, hey, this cannot go on. If you do this and if you don't change your team, you are going to be out of the running for the money. Yeah. And you told me, you told her, you're like, oh, okay, then I'm out. And she was like taken back by that.
Yes.
And she was like, no, we don't want to do that.
No, she didn't. I don't remember exactly. I don't want to get into this.
She wanted to work with you on how to get this fixed.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, so I don't want to go into details because I know that someone's going to correct me on it. But essentially, I can't think of something. I've done some little things with the loophole today, but they're so minor that no one would really care. Like, I can't think of anything right now, but there's just been very minor things, I guess. Like, here's one of the things. Is I waited to draft my last starting pitcher on the last pick. And there was a point where everyone else had drafted 5 starting pitchers. In our league, you're not allowed to have more than 5. So I knew, 22nd round of 25, that I'm the only one who needs to draft a remaining starting pitcher. So I saved that pick till the very last pick because I thought no one else can draft him. They're unable to draft because the rules will not allow it. So that's kind of a little loophole. It's not something anyone's going to be upset about you. It's kind of, that's like you're outsmarting the rules in the right way. I've outsmarted the rules in the wrong way.
So you are that water that's trying to go into every single crevice, find every single gray area, and take advantage of people.
No, I like to, more simple than that. I'm trying to find the path of least resistance.
Yes. And we can easily say you have done that from time to time when need be.
So as a captain loophole, which is actually my team name in baseball, is as long as it's not going to hurt anyone's feeling and it's subtle enough, go ahead and do it. But if it's so blatant, I wouldn't recommend it now, learning that, because you really are going to upset a lot of people. And really, fantasy is supposed to be fun. And if you are shitting all over everyone else's good time, you're kind of doing an injustice to fantasy sports in general.
Yep. So don't cheat.
We're not getting into that. So here's an interesting one. I actually think this can apply to two couples. So this archetype I didn't select for anyone, but it's the marriage of convenience. It is two people who you would not normally expect to be together, but just based on convenience they're together. And there's usually an A and a B. There's a more dominant person in the marriage, and there's a person who's more passive. Generally, person A is going to be more successful. Person B isn't.
The bitch.
The bitch. B for bitch. So, any ideas? Like I didn't name them, but because everyone else already has their own archetypes. Do you have an idea of who the marriage of convenience might be?
The bitch. All right, the alpha would be Kelly. If I had to say, an alpha could be Kelly.
Sure.
Is Kelly, actually. And the bitch.
A bitch.
And that's the way that Kelly says the B word.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because she was over and I kind of revealed to her, you go, you say bitch with a really long, it's almost like you're typing bitch and then all of a sudden the H key gets stuck and then it just goes off. And you're like, no. And then you pulls up and it finally stops.
Yes. And the bitch? Oh, I could say probably Johnny. If it's between those two,
okay.
I mean, there's a lot of times where Kelly would be like, hey, I'm going to try to work it out with my brother. I want him to be thinking that he's getting the upper hand.
Sure.
But she's an alpha.
Sure.
And in that relationship between those two, Johnny's doing exactly what Kelly tells him.
I think you're right on that.
And this archetype more sounds like in a trade type of situation.
Sure. Well, I'm going to tell you who everyone else is screaming, at their computer device, whatever. They're saying that we are definitely in the marriage of convenience. They're saying Matt's the alpha, David's the bitch. Because, come on, when we do those videos, whenever I talk to them, they're like, you live with David, David doesn't trade with anyone else, he's your bitch.
But the thing is that, yes, they say, well, David, you don't have a phone. Well, David, you don't see us anymore. And I tell them, I was like, hey, you do know we have a Facebook page. Hey, you do know I'm on Facebook every single night. And when I get home, that Facebook page is open. And if you want to talk, you can hit me up there. But they say, David, you don't have a phone. Hey, David, you don't come and see us. And I just think to myself, didn't I tell you a way to get a hold of me? And they tell me, but we don't see you. And so that's my excuse for why I don't make trades with them, or I can't.
Okay.
But I think now with my work schedule changing and with Sunday happening, and we're all probably going to go to the Gretchico pad to watch some Niners games and also watch Red Zone.
Fuck the Packers.
Hey, fuck you, dude. I'm sorry. This is a family podcast.
You started.
Baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus. So I'm thinking that excuse of, hey, why do you only trade with certain people? I think that's going to go out the window this year.
Okay.
So, what is the next archetype, if there is any?
The final archetype. I'm going to ask you, do you know who the last person is?
Champion Ninja.
No, but do you know who the last league member who you haven't named yet is?
No.
Okay, I'm going to name it, and you're probably going to know.
Oh, wait. I haven't said Jason.
You're right. So this is Jason. This is a special request for you, Jason.
Oh, a special request.
I
like how you said that very sexually.
I want to say this in a way because I don't want to. Jason can be a little bit loose cannon too, and I want to make sure I say it in a way that he understands where I'm coming from. This is not only my opinion. I think this is kind of the opinion of a lot of people in the league. Jason, you are the narcissist. You are the person who looks at yourself in the mirror every morning and says, "Damn, I'm sexy."
He's like my cousin who, in high school, he decided, I'm going to go join the wrestling team. Mind you, my cousin is only 5 foot tall, and the only person that he was able to wrestle was women. And you go into his room, and what do you see all over his walls? Pictures of him in his mirror with his phone out and all his skinny-ass body saying, look at me, baby. I'm so sexy. I'm so ripped because, you know what? I'm wrestling women, and look at all these pictures of me on my wall. And so you're telling me that right there could be considered a Jason.
Yes. Hell, Jason, you've told me this multiple times. If you could, you would fuck yourself. Like, that's how much you think, how sexy and how hot you think you are.
I am actually really shocked by that. Like, that's the first time I actually heard that.
Yeah. Well, you never heard that?
I think I need a beer.
Okay, yeah, seriously. I'm like killing David in beers. I had a beer before he got here. I'm 2 in. Have you killed that beer?
Yes.
Okay, so I got a Boston Lager.
Boston Lager.
I have a Lagunitas IPA if you want that. Belgian Session.
I'll try that one.
Okay. So let me crack this for you, Dave.
So, I like it though. As him as the alpha, and me as the bitch, he goes and opens my beer for me.
Yeah, because he's not man enough to open his own beer.
And so, as Kelly and Sonny are probably doing right now, they're probably laughing their fucking ass off, and they're saying, "Look at David, he's cute. Look at him."
David, you're smart in a lot of things, but I think a lot of times, like, when I was helping you cook the other day, I'm like, David, put the chicken in with the vegetables. Just trust me. David, leave the rice covered, cook it the right way, and then you're like, oh my God, it's so much better.
You know, there was a rule in our household. David, you cannot be in the kitchen.
Yes, that was a great rule.
That was a great rule. But now that I'm living on my own, and usually...
Were you living with someone else earlier?
No. Well, I've been living on my own. But, okay, so what happened is for the past, 5 years, there's one thing I've been doing, is I've been going
masturbating.
Yes, masturbating, because I am, as you probably said, he's probably asexual.
Yes.
Yes. So, I go, and I always do this. I will always go to my local store, and I'll always buy their hot plates, whatever's on.
What store is that?
Oliver's. Are we putting a plug in now for Oliver's? Oliver's,
Yeah.
the best place where you can get all your cheap-ass food.
Oliver's, the place where you get local produce at 5 times the price.
And you can get local music.
Yes.
And local pot smell.
Yes.
So anyways, that's what I would do. I would always go to my local store, buy the food, and come home and eat it. Well, in the last 2 weeks, there's one thing that I've learned. It's actually cheaper to go buy your own damn food.
Da da da!
And so what did I start doing? I started cooking. Well, I kind of looked at what Matt was doing, and I was like, hey, I could do that. But then I started seeing the flaws in my ways. I go put the...
Okay, well, no. So let's say how David's cooking this thing. So he's making it rice, vegetables, and chicken. So he gets a box of rice, of Uncle Ben's rice, and he doesn't read the instructions. He just fills it up with water like he's making macaroni and cheese, and then gets it to a bowl, and then dumps the rice in and strains the rice. That's how he makes the rice, okay? So how I told him to make the rice is you buy a big bag of rice from Costco for like $10. And we did the math, and he gets about 55 cents on the pound in the box. And then the bag that I get is 8 cents. So it's significantly cheaper. And if you follow the instructions on the box, which has a 2-to-1 ratio of water to rice, and you cook it the right way, it's pretty good. And it's Asian rice. It's like sticky Asian rice. Very good. And then with the vegetables, David's like, oh, I'll just throw all these vegetables in a boiling pot of water while he's cooking his chicken and his rice. So he's using 3 burners. I'm like, the hell are you doing, Dave? So then I'm like, oh, and he's cooking his chicken, and he just throws it in there, just kind of lets it get charred black, and then just flip it over, and it's just no.
Do you want the chicken well done? Yes, sir.
Yes, he wants it just to be burnt to a crisp, ember.
And it was just funny though. The first couple times you just started looking at me, and you didn't really question.
Bitch, I wasn't finished talking.
You just what? Why am I the bitch? Hey, sweetie, can you go get me something?
Okay, so let me finish. So
that's what she said.
So what I told Dave, I go, David, here's what you do. Turn down the heat down on that rice. Turn the heat down on that chicken. Cook it a little slower. Don't throw those vegetables in the water because they're just gonna get soggy. They're not gonna be good. Throw those in there with the chicken. Put a lid on that. Let it steam. Let it soak up all the juice. Let them
Let the love come in.
let the love. Let them meet. Let them mingle. Let them all just kind of get to know each other. And then I told you, like, David, just try this one time. And then you tried it, and you were like, dang.
And it was funny though, like when we were exploring.
And you only use one burner. You use 2 burners, one for the rice. But instead of using 3 burners, you're only using 2.
It was really funny though, because my argument for the rice, when it was all said and done, I was like, I got a black guy on the box.
And then I said, okay, I'm going to be totally racist right now, David. Do you want a black guy making your rice, or do you want, like, an Asian yelling at her family, like, you want the Asian yelling at her family making you the rice. You don't want some soulful black guy. Chicken? Hell yes. But not rice.
I almost thought for a second you were speaking llama.
Llama.
Let's
see if anyone gets that
Yes. All right, there's one thing that we should now do with our podcast. It has one element that everyone has to guess what that actually meant.
Okay.
Like, I think we have to think about it.
Well, okay. No, but here, let me talk.
Oh, let you talk.
Because I actually had to, take some money out of my mutual funds because I'm losing money on this podcast. Because Blake got on the first one. And then the not today, I love you thing, Kelly nailed that right away. And I'm like, oh, shit. I didn't think no one would get that. But I'll go ahead. I'll put down another $5.
$5. Or
So
why don't you just say a Starbucks drink?
You know what? No, I'm not going to do that because I think they can Google this shit.
Talking llama.
Okay, how about this? If you know what Talking Llama is a reference to, you will get a 1-hour session of deep foot massage from Mr. David Reeves.
Now, there's one thing that my mother told me. She's like, son, the only reason why I had you is so you can rub my feet. So, for 20 years, I learned the ways of rubbing feet. And you could get that. Feel it. Oh, yeah. And there was also one time where somebody brought their girlfriend to our group session. I go and I rub her feet. She looks at me in a way, and then he looks at me. I thought maybe for a second he would beat me up. And also there was a film out there that they had a question. Is rubbing some girl's feet really that sexual? Or is it just a natural thing? Well, once you get that feeling in your system, you'll be able to answer that question.
What the fuck? Okay, we're way off topic now. Like, we went from Jason being a narcissist. No, we're not doing that now. But we need to get back on topic with Jason. So he said, yeah, he's a narcissist. He loves himself. And you know what? He's a person who's very set in his ways. He's a person who he doesn't like to change. He feels like he knows what he's doing. And he's kind of the person where you can't really go up to him and say, you know what? Here's what you need to do, Jason. Jason is going to, he'd rather lose than listen to you and win.
Mm-hmm. He will never admit that he's wrong in a situation either.
In some cases, yes. I'm not gonna blanket it and say in all cases.
So that was the final archetype.
So yeah, that was the archetypes. I think what I might want to do, Dave, is send you a link. So then, if anyone is interested in reading more about the archetypes, they can go look at this book and maybe buy it. It's available in paperback.
And what I'm gonna do is when we interview our fellow leaguers,
yeah,
I'm going to actually have them introduced as their archetype.
Sure.
And so you'll be able to know their voice and kind of get a sense of who they are.
We should also list the archetypes in the comments for this video. Well, we'll be sure to put them in there.
And if we actually get pictures, we should get that one of Kevin where he's in Kelly's yoga pants.
I don't know. You have to ask Kelly if she has that picture.
Oh, I hope so.
Okay, we need to describe this because, viewer discretion advised. Kevin is a big boy. Kevin is... he's got a few pounds, but really he's just a tall guy. He's just a really big guy.
Oh, baby Jesus.
And Kevin, he's the guy who really, he's the jester. He's the joker of the group. He's kind of the glue that kind of holds this whole group together. And...
oh, baby Jesus.
Okay. Kevin, somehow got brought up like, Kevin, why don't you try on Kelly's yoga pants? Kevin says, why the fuck not? She went in there, took Kelly's yoga pants, and actually was able to wear them. Kelly, she's not a big girl either. She's the average size girl, but she's not like a huge girl.
It would when you describe Kevin, he has an ass of a black girl.
Kevin, Kevin was a girl, yeah.
It's a black girl ass.
The African Americans would be all over this booty, and the funniest thing that just got me rolling the floor laughing was Kevin came out and said, "I got a male camel toe." I'm not going to go into any more detail. If you really need to know what a male camel toe is and you want to know, just Google it.
I just love it though. Like
on your work computer.
I come in late, right? And I just hear about this.
Yes.
I did not believe it for a second. But then there was a picture on a phone of it. And it was priceless. It's something that you would never want to show your mother.
Yes.
And we're going to show it to everyone online if we can find it.
Just have that be the back of the image. No, because then no one will want to watch it.
No! Oh, Kevin.
What we should do is we should like a tiny URL, put it in there, and then it was assuming Kevin's okay with it, because I don't want to throw it up there if he's not okay with it. And just link it in our video.
Oh, man. Think if his mom was watching and she saw that.
She's listening, not watching.
No, but if she's watching on YouTube, I will make sure to put a picture of it. God, you keep on trying to say, David, you said this wrong. David, you said that wrong. And
David, here's why I'm doing it, because here's the thing about Sonny and Kelly. If we say anything wrong, they're going to call us the fuck out. They're going to be like, Matt, you're wrong on this. David, you're wrong on this. And I think that Sonny and Kelly appreciate, specifically with you, or probably me as well, if we're kind of off, we're not being logical, we're not, I don't know what word it is.
We're being too out there for them. We're not being...
If we're not...
We're not politically correct.
No, we're not showing their side of the opinion. I think that they like it when we kind of stand up for them and say what they... Like you said, oh, why would she not keep Gronk? And I'm like, hello, there's a valid reason.
Hello!
Yes. Hello! So they like it when they back them up. And I try to do that because really, you have to treat this podcast a little differently than us just talking shit. We need to try to make sure that we are fair. Mm-hmm. We can joke around, but we need to come back to earth and say that here's how we really feel.
I feel like we're on part of the interruption and we're just going at it. Yes. And then we have the guy at the end who's saying, yeah, you got this wrong. You got that wrong. And I'm just glad, though, to know that we have that.
Sure.
So they put us in line.
So, Sonny and Kelly, thank you very much.
This has actually become a lot of fun in the last, 10 minutes.
Yes. So you get your fantasy talk. Well, we haven't been talking a whole lot of fantasy. We're just talking about our league.
No, we're just talking about archetypes so you can look at people in your league and say, that's it.
Yeah, so encourage you to get the book. I haven't read it, but I've heard good things about it. I'm not a reader. I'm a programmer.
You would rather watch the movie than read the book?
Yeah, because then you save 20 hours.
It's true.
So we'll put the link to the book. It's a great book. It's like your wife or spouse say, you need to read something. Then you go, oh, okay, I'll read this book. It's about fantasy. If I think about AJ Massis, he actually was, he has another book called Yes, It's Hot in Here. So he's a big fancy on ESPN, but in his earlier days, he was actually a mascot.
He was a mascot?
He was Mr. Met.
Oh, really? The one with the big old ball?
The big old baseball head.
Oh, my God. That's so awesome.
So you kind of hear, because mascots, you really don't ever hear kind of their side of things. They're just kind of very mysterious.
Yeah.
And he kind of opens it up and talks about mascots.
It's really funny, though. So there's a girl I work with. She's actually a mascot. She's a mascot for Clo, the milk, right? She goes all around California.
For non-NorCal, there's California local milk called Clover Milk, and there's this cow mascot that's the kind of emblem of this milk company.
She tells me the weirdest stories of some almost fetishes that people have with mascots that she's almost ran into.
Okay, let's keep it short, but I want to hear this.
Okay, so there was this police officer one time.
Okay.
And he was kind of watching her. She really noticed it. And then at the end of the day...
What's the environment right now?
And the environment right now is that she's at this local fair.
Okay.
Right? She's Chloe. She's doing her thing. She's shaking her cow ass everywhere.
Okay.
Okay, and at the end of the day, the guy came up to her. And when she takes off her mask, she's not a pretty girl. Okay. Not at all. He asked her. He's like, what would it take? Really? No, in the mask.
In uniform?
In uniform.
He wanted to, how could you do her unless you just take off the head and you get oral?
I don't know. But she's that type of girl that she's not like that. But she would just laugh it off and just kind of just like run the other way. But she told me the story. And then she's had...
Wait. The thing I can't get over. Was the police... Was he on duty?
I don't know if he was just working there as security. Okay. Or if he was like a paid security.
Because that's disturbing. If one of our police officers going around, instead of protecting and serving, he's looking to plow a mascot. That's very concerning to me, David.
And she said that some people have bumped and grind against her when she's in her suit doing her thing.
Like what they just like there's a lot of people. I'm like, oh,
I don't know. I would have to see it with my very own eyes.
Does Chloe go to some raves? Is that where she's bump and grind?
Chloe, it goes everywhere. I mean, like there's times in there where she's like, I have to take a week off. I have to go be Chloe. And she talks about Chloe as like it's a real person.
Yeah, she needs to get into character. I understand that.
And oh my god, I could not. And she says like she's bumping with her own music as she's in there. Oh man, I could not imagine. And also, she can't sit.
Well, I can understand that.
Yeah, and it's just some weird ass things that people have done to mascots.
Okay. Well,
I would love to actually read that book and see if there's actually weird things that have actually happened to them in the outfit.
I sure God hope not, but I'll give you the link, Dave, and we'll include it for everyone else. And I think that's a good point to leave that topic.
Wow, we went from cow fetishes to black guys on rice boxes to Asians.
You get your fan. You get okay. Here's the ratio. You get like 30% fantasy talk. You get 33% of me getting David to shut up, and then another 33% of actual somewhat useful mindless banter.
And then we found out that I'm the bitch and you're the alpha.
Was there any suspense?
I want to live in my own
David,
reality. Don't pop my bubble.
David, okay, I'm going to tell the listeners a story. David will remember this very well. We're talking to our roommate, Sarah. She's a very lovely girl. And she asked us a question. She said, like in the prison, if you're in prison, would you rather be the aggressor or would you rather be the bitch? And Dave and I, without missing a beat, we both said our answer. I said the aggressor. David, without thinking, said the bitch.
It's true. I would rather be the one going into prison and being like, I'm with that guy. Don't fuck with me because I'm with that guy. It's like in Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's worth all the butt rape.
Hell yeah, it is.
Okay.
And it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, where Groot comes in, they're all in prison, and the one guy steps up and says, "Who the fuck are you? You're gonna be my bitch." And Groot just goes in there, goes right up in his nose, and shows him what's up. And then at the end of the day, Peter Quill goes and looks at them all and says, "I'm with them. I'm their bitch. I'm their booty." You're gonna tell me you're gonna be the one that's gonna be aggressive and all that, and then when all the heat comes down, they're gonna kill you, and they're gonna take me as their bitch. I'm living. You're dead.
Oh, at least I'm out of prison.
And then I get to live my sentence, come out as a livable bitch, and you're dead.
With a ruptured asshole. Okay, moving topics on. So we've kind of alluded to this. Our draft's tomorrow, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to get as much media as we can, images, video, voice recordings of kind of the ongoings of the draft. So we'll hopefully, now that if you're listening to both these podcasts, you'll know kind of background of these people, and you'll be able to like maybe see them, hear their voices, maybe see kind of, put the pieces together yourselves and sing what we want to do. What we need to do, Dave, is we actually need to come up with our questions. We actually come up with that.
And I was thinking it would be the same questions that we would ask everybody.
Yes.
And also, you're going to hear a lot of me talking.
Unfortunately.
Because Matt has to draft for Kevin.
Yes.
And so he's going to be focusing a lot on that. And so it's all on me to come up and rise up and act like an alpha.
So I talked about this in the last podcast, but I'm drafting for myself. I'm also auto-drafting for Kevin. We have a system where he actually can maybe give me some input on what he wants. But I'm going to be doing his drafting. It's a really sad day when one of your good friends actually discovers a life. And, it's something that we're all dealing with as friends. Because Kevin used to have no life. He told me this yesterday. He said, it's very interesting. I used to be in a room with Jason, Dr. Pepper cans everywhere, overweight. And
wait, he's still overweight.
No, he's not as overweight. And playing Halo. And now he's busy as all get out, and he is alive. So
he has a fiance.
Is a fiance
who runs his life? Which that's what all fiancés are supposed to do. They're supposed to take their man and make him into what they want.
Okay. I don't want to get too much into Kevin and Kate.
No, I'm not saying about that. I'm just saying about any female. That's what they want to do.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen to you. When you...
I'd say I'm the alpha in that relationship.
You're saying for now you're the alpha, but ask any female. They're going to take their man and they're going to mold him into whatever they want. And then I'm going to be the one you guys are going to look up to and be like, David, you're asexual and you get a life. You can do whatever you want.
Yes. So your life, David, your life consists of going to a nursing home at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon after sleeping into 1 in the afternoon, wiping their ass, coming home, making a lackluster podcast, making a movie review, maybe going to the movies by yourself, going online, probably watching some videos, some of the erotic type, some non.
Some of the stuff to get viruses on my computer.
Yes. And then I have to clean up your computer. And then you go to bed like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Yes, you're right, David. That you totally have a life.
Thank you. I won an argument. At least I think so.
Yes.
I like how you just hit me down. You just take me down to a level where I'm nothing.
And I bring you back up. So yeah, I haven't talked to Sunny about this, but I want to have Sunny come on the podcast, and I really would like to kind of have her talk about the process of putting together this live draft. We're doing a live draft. We're not doing online. Live draft meaning, Sunny and Kelly created this draft board, and we're going to be putting stickers on a board.
No, we're going to have a sticker bitch.
Yeah, we do have a sticker.
He's a sexy sticker bitch.
Yes.
But he's a sticker bitch nonetheless.
He's going to have a little uniform, too. So.
Oh, he's going to... Is it going to... Oh, yeah. Don't tell him.
Okay. So yeah, this is a very old school draft. We're obviously going to use computers to look stats up and such, but we're not going to actually we're not going to be going online. We're not going to be drafting online. It's all.
Do you know what would be awesome, though, next year, if we actually get a couple more viewers, we get a little bit bigger, is to have the Google Doc. Have people that can look on it and be like, this person's off the board.
Sure. If they want to do that, we could do a live stream even if we want to do that. So yeah, and what I want to do is with that, I really want to get her opinion, like, well, what does it take? Because we really take for granted a lot of the work Sunny does, and I really would like to kind of see, what she goes through, how she kind of puts this all together. I think that'd be really interesting to do.
Yeah.
There'll probably be a little bit more of her talking than you and I, but I think it'd be interesting.
And also, if that ever happens, there's one thing we have to get: an extra mic, because you and I are so close right now.
Yes.
If I didn't brush my teeth.
It's one of those things that, it's coming out if we really jump out, maybe we'll do it, but this will suffice for now.
Yes, but if there's a third person, that's when I'm gonna.
That's almost like you gotta communicate with someone, but whatever. So yeah, I'm really excited about having Sunny potentially come on. I know she'll want to talk about other things, but I really hope she'll come on and talk about the live draft. How do you run that? What does she think about it? So I think that'll be a lot of fun to do. And then probably, a week or two after that, someone I'm also really excited about coming on, Mr. Kevin. Kevin. Hopefully he'll have time. And what I really want Kevin to do is, he, as the archetype, he is the mad scientist. He's the guy really with trades. He's the guy who trades a lot. He's been dubbed the trade rapist in our league a lot. And I think that Kevin can really give a lot of insight to anyone listening, outside of our league or even inside, how to trade with people. And Kevin, he's one of those guys that he is actually smarter than he appears. And I think that he kind of likes it like that. He likes kind of being the underdog and being underrated. He's very good with social situations, with interacting with people. And I've told Kevin this, and Jason can't do this either because he really wants to trade as well. Kevin has a really good way of trading. He has a really good way. He's a very good almost salesman selling the trade.
Oh, I know all about that way too much.
We're not getting into that on this podcast, David. But yeah, David has bought the car in many of Kevin's sales pitches.
Yes, there has to, and also there's also my movie channel or my channel where we do have.
You're gonna plug that?
No. I'm gonna plug the video of you and I talking about Kevin and his trade rape epidemic.
Okay.
And so I probably will have a link to that video.
Okay. Sure. You link to maybe some other ones. So yeah, we're trying to this is a very young podcast. We're very excited that we actually can upload videos that are more than
15 minutes.
Not at the parts, because for those who actually listened to the whole podcast, like, God bless you, because I don't think I would have enough.
I think at this one we have to have the end word, not the end word, but the end.
The end, not end word.
We have to have the end word where if people listen to it this far, post it, and I don't know.
Well, I gave away enough money, Dave. It's your turn to give. Well, you're going to give away that foot massage.
I'll give away that sexual foot massage, which you'll find out what the eyes of the Lord looks like.
Okay.
Baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus, come on down to Mississippi. Baby Jesus, come home to me.
Yay.
Okay. So yeah, what we're also want to do is we're trying to think of other segments to do. One of the things I just thought of before this podcast is, I think it'd be very fun because I think we should try to do like a weekly podcast. Maybe not as long as this, but a good amount of time. I think it'd be very fun if we have kind of fancy focus. They do like a board bet, and I think it'd be fun to have some sort of bet. Like, we'll talk about players, and we'll come up with, something like, oh, I think this player will do this.
The fantasy underdogs.
Yes.
The underdog. I think that would be a great one because we both pick our underdog. Whichever one does better in that given week.
Sure. Okay.
We can figure out something for the other person to do on video.
So what we want to do is we're going to kind of have a bet between the two of us. And we're going to come up with this on the air so you guys can see the whole process of us creating this bet. And then we want to do some sort of humiliation. And I don't have any good ideas right now because what I want it to do is I don't want it to like destroy our physical or mental beings. I want it to be something fun, not like some of the ice bucket water challenge, maybe something a little bit more, unique. Something where it would be fun to watch the other person do. And we'll agree to it before the bet so that we'll both be on board with it. So we're really looking to, anyone listening to this podcast, what are some ideas of types of humiliations that we could do? For example, I don't know. Let's say like you jog in your boxers.
Fuck that! Those people look at my calves, they won't be able to look at anything else.
You do that, you can see like, you could do, like for me, like it'd probably be better because I have to hold my chest, do like a Sunday.
Oh,
or like a hot dog where you're just like hot dog and you like take a picture. Something like that. Just something that would be funny to watch on video that we could watch over again and laugh. So,
God, could you imagine if we actually do the boxer thing and then the police get called?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that would be...
Something funny like that. So we're looking for your suggestions on that. We're going to try and do that as often as we can.
Yes, and I think that this podcast is just a lot of fun. Em and I are just doing it for fun, and I hope you guys have been enjoying also. And I've hoped that my voice has been clear, because some people in our league says when I talk, there's certain points where my saliva becomes its own voice.
Lodged in your throat.
And so I'm going to have to go and check out this video and see when I do clear my throat, because I have been, hopefully, Sonny and Kelly have been noticing. But hopefully you guys don't hear that coming in. I'm just glad that we're doing this. It's just a lot of fun. Drinking beers.
Yeah, time really flies by. We're at an hour 24 right now.
Yep, we definitely are hitting the floor running.
Yep. Let me double check my notes so I didn't forget anything.
Double check the notes. I don't know what the fuck that was.
So yeah,
That's about it.
So yeah, it also, if anyone, we really want you to like, comment, subscribe, share. Don't be afraid. We're such a small podcast. If you're just stumbling across in our league, comment. We want to hear what you have to say, and it's so small. We're gonna interact with you on a one-on-one basis.
And also, we're going to be hopefully opening up our league chat board for people to see and people follow us.
Yeah, we need to talk with our league about that.
Yeah. Make our league a league of its own.
A league of its own, yes. So, hopefully we'll have a good time drafting tomorrow. I talked to Kevin yesterday, and we have a good strategy of what we want to do for for his draft and my draft. So I think it's going to be really interesting, and maybe I can talk about that a little bit more when draft's over, because I don't want to reveal any of mine or Kevin's strategies.
Yep, and it's Fantasy Eve. It's the night.
Fantasy Eve.
We're just waiting. We're drinking our beers. Hopefully that will put me to sleep.
Yeah.
It's going to be one hell of a ride. So I think that's going to be about it, right?
Yeah, just again, like, comment, subscribe, share. Appreciate you guys listening, and God bless you if you get this long into our podcast.
And if you want to see more about little old me, I have my own movie vlog where Monday through Friday you can hear a whole bunch of movie news, and then on Saturday and Sunday you can hear a lot of stuff about movie reviews.
This is a great way. If you want to match the voice to the idiot face, you can watch David's movie vlogs.
Hey.
We're going to do now our bad impression, because now we're just people, if they haven't hung up soon, they're going to hang up pretty goddamn soon.
And I think that's when we fade out.
Until next time, I'm the guy who can't throw.
I'm the guy that can't catch.
We'll see you some other time.
See you later, motherfucker.